TD Ryan Unleashed is brought to you by Scott Ziman, your State Farm Insurance agent in DeKalb. Call 815-748-3101 or stop by at 2587 Sycamore Road, Suite D in DeKalb. Like a good neighbor, Scott Ziman and State Farm are there. Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more at 824 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. Don't forget Kids Eat for Free on Thursday. For delivery or pickup, go to pizzavilla.com or call 815-758-8116. Elder Care Services of DeKalb. Safe, secure, and supported, helping you stay in home where you want to be. Call 815-758-6550 or stop in at 1701 East Lincoln Highway in DeKalb or on the web at ecsdekalb.org. My Insurance Guy in Sycamore covers Medicare to auto care and everything in between. Stop by at 204 South Main Street in Sycamore. Call 815-899-0950 or online at myinsuranceguy.com. Welcome into TD Ryan Unleashed, podcast number 50. Honored and privileged to have our friends here from the Sauk Valley Voices of Recovery. We have Jake with us. Jake, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Give us your elevator speed. What is Voices of Recovery, if you had to tell us, Jake?
Sure. So Sauk Valley Voices of Recovery is a RCO, which is a recovery community organization. And really we help people on all walks of life through their journey of recovery. Not just people looking for treatment, but also afterwards. What do you do next? So we host different events. We have peer coaching and things like that.
Like a shiny penny returning also, we have Allison Taylor. Allison, of course, from the... Now, I think I've been saying it wrong. Allison, how do you say the name of the group? The Alano.
You can say it how you want to say it. There's different ways to say it.
Okay, good.
Alano Club is how I say it.
You say potato, I say potato. All right, when I say it, that's great. But tell us what you guys are all about there, DeKalb. You're right over there on Taylor Street that folks know the city of DeKalb. You guys are just kind of a quaint little building there at 312 East Taylor Street. Tell us what you guys are all about, please.
So the Alano Club in DeKalb hosts 12-step meetings. So any type of recovery 12-step program.
Turn that mic towards you. There you go.
Like AA, NA, OA, Overeaters Anonymous.
Now,
SA.
AA, we know NA is what? Narcotics Anonymous? Tell us what that...
Yes, that's Narcotics Anonymous. There is one meeting on Friday nights. That's new. That's an NA meeting, and the schedule is online, so you can see what meetings are available. There's an AA meeting every day at 9:30 in the morning, but they are 12-step program-based. And some of the meetings are open meetings where anybody who wants to go to the meeting can. And it says that on the schedule. And some meetings are closed meetings, and those are for just people that want to stop using or drinking.
Okay. And you have a lot of meetings, don't you? A lot of different times of day so people can make it.
Correct.
Okay.
There's some in the mornings, like I said, 9:30 in the morning. And then there's afternoon meetings pretty much throughout the week, sometimes 6 p.m., 6:30. There's even 8 o'clock meetings. 9 o'clock on Fridays for you people who stay up late.
Okay. I like that. Now, I come from a family of alcohol. My father was an alcoholic. My brother and sister both battled alcoholism. And my brother used to use the term addictive personality, which I want to bounce this off of you and Jake. Jake, let me start with you with the, we hear that term and I go, well, of course, we're all addictive personalities. I mean, who's not? My brother, who was an alcoholic, quit drinking and then he started eating mixing bowls of ice cream. He just went to from one vice to another, but obviously the ice cream was better than the alcohol. But tell us about that addictive personality. Is there such a thing? Do we all have addictive personality?
I truly believe so, and I think we are all recovering from something also. But that's really like what Sauk Valley does is we really focus on those addictive behaviors, but it's also it's the way that you think, it's the way your brain is wired. So you can take away the addiction or the alcohol or the drug, but you still have that thinking problem, right? So that's really where having a community of people to be around and to support is really huge. Absolutely.
Now, I know of a buddy who goes to the meetings all the time. I guess he's relatively addicted to the meetings. Allison, how about you? Did you find that when you quit alcohol, did you pick up another vice? Not a vice per se, but something that occupy your time more?
Ice cream also.
Ice cream also.
Ice cream. I go to the ice cream places in town here. I try to find ice cream places out of town. But it's not like the alcohol was. Like, I would hide the alcohol. I would do it when I wasn't supposed to be doing it. I would do it after I got in trouble. The ice cream was just kind of something fun that I gave myself as, hey, you're getting healthier, you're exercising, you're riding your bike, you're not drinking. So
that'd be easy to rationalize, I would think, certainly in my world.
Well, I can rationalize anything.
Now, I used to work as a DJ at a nightclub 5 nights a week. People think, oh, that's the perfect job. Why are you just playing music for? And, of course, people would buy me shots. I do shots of Jägermeister, and inevitably I would end up drinking every night. I didn't really think I had a problem, but as you would look back at it, And, of course, there's a little cocaine floating around as well, too. But I, for one, did not think I had a problem. So we heard the term, Jake, functioning alcoholic or functioning someone who's dealing with drugs. Tell us about that. You can function and yet you're still battling this problem, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what we run into a lot. I know, though, for me, my drug of choice was opioids. So for a long time, I thought I was functioning, but I mean, clearly, if you look at pictures of myself from then, I was not hiding it very well. But yeah, we run that to a lot. Well, I have a problem, but hey, I'm still going to work. I'm still paying my bills. But from my experience and what I've found, it's just it's a matter of time before it all comes crashing down. I mean,
And Allison, you faked it, I guess, if you would, for a while, right? You were going through drinking and yet continued to work. And
Yeah, that's how I justified it to myself. I still had a job. I was still making money. I can still afford alcohol. But I knew early on that it was a problem. And like Jake said, it's a progressive disease, and it was going to get worse and worse and worse.
Well, Jake, tell us your story, if you don't mind. How did you start with the opioids? Was that in school, in high school? Or
It was. I was in my early 20s, and I had hurt my lower back. I was actually lifting and hurt my lower back, and I had gotten prescribed Oxycontin for the first time. I had experimented with drinking and some other things, but I still remember the first time I took that, and I just thought it was like the warmest hug in the world. And I was off to the races. And of course, once prescription runs out, and then you're trying to find it on the streets, and then you're doing that for a while, and then I eventually...
Were you limiting yourself at first, like going by the bottle one a day, or did you start going
That's how it
one and a half?
starts. Yeah, and then you kind of progressively, keep going up and up, and then eventually, that gets you're spending hundreds of dollars a day on pills, and somebody offers you a cheaper option in the form of heroin, and then you pick that up, and then...
So explain that to the folks, too.
Sure.
That so often it leads that. You start with an opioid addiction. You might have hurt your knee or something. So it starts on a legitimate level like that.
Correct.
But then ultimately, like you said, it leads to you wanting more and more. And then all of a sudden there's heroin that's a cheaper option. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's more powerful. So, but yeah, and then you brought up a good point. I mean, you have to continuously keep chasing. Like no time is ever as good as the first time.
They call chasing the dragon, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. And I chased it for a while. But yeah, and then and then you start experimenting with needles and things like that. And then it's like you said, it's a terrible, terrible downfall.
Well, take us to the needle point, because I think that's a lot of our, many of us fear getting a shot and stuff. And you go, well, how does it get to a point where you're actually going to inject yourself? Remember that moment, the first time you did that?
I do. And the person I was with that actually had shot me up. And but again, it's so crazy to think how powerful that is, because you love it so much. You feel like you need it. Like that's, when you're dealing with so much, childhood trauma and kind of other things, and everything's just quiet and peaceful. And so, yeah, it wasn't that hard to do it after that then.
We did we still do the suicide prevention show, as a matter of fact, and this being part of the suicide prevention show. But something I learned about with cutting, I could never understand people that cut themselves. And it was explained to me by a psychiatrist that while that person is cutting themselves, just that moment where they're in that pain, it takes away all the mental pain, right? So even just that brief moment.
Yeah.
And imagine that drug the same way. You had that one moment where everything went away, at least for a little while.
Correct. There would be, 23 hours a day where I was just completely miserable. But for that 1 hour, everything was okay, and I didn't care about anything, right? So, that makes it all worth it.
And Allison, with the drinking, was that something that was there, as you came home at night and had 3, 4, maybe I'll have one more, did you reach a point where, I want to get here to this point, or you just start just drinking?
I didn't wait till I got home at night. Okay. That was the problem. Yeah, it was just, and I don't know when it happened, and I do believe it's hereditary. But just when I started drinking differently. And it was just, and
what do you mean drinking differently?
Like I would notice I would always want to be around places that had alcohol. My friends wouldn't, or I wouldn't mind driving drunk. Like even if I was driving, I would still drink. But my friends, if it was their time to drive, they wouldn't drink. But it just got to a point where I knew I couldn't quit. And like when you said you were, working and partying and it was fun, and then you stopped. I couldn't. I just couldn't stop. It's just the weirdest thing to know that you can't stop. So I pretty much did it all the time. I was drinking all the time. And it was just.
Could you have still gotten away with it? Was everybody around you onto you then at that point, or could you have kept getting away with it longer?
Yes, I could have got away with it longer. I think my marriage probably wouldn't have lasted much longer, but I could have got away with it longer with like family and friends. But I got to the point where I couldn't imagine life without drinking because that's all I knew. But then I couldn't imagine drinking again because I was just so sick and tired and miserable and hopeless. That was the big thing. I was so hopeless. And that's the moment of clarity I had where I was like, I need to go to rehab.
And Jake, she mentioned her partner. Now, is that so often? Because, I remember my brother and sister, he just unfortunately lost him to lung cancer, but they both smoked and they both tried to quit numerous times. But of course, they both enabled each other.
Mm-hmm.
One would go out and grab a smoke, and the other one would say, let's just have one smoke and then we're okay. Do you find that with couples where they're both in addiction together? Is that a problem?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. We see that quite a bit. And that's really, I think it's very important to separate them and kind of let them go on their own journeys when they get into treatment, things like that. I worked at a treatment center for many years, and we would get couples all the time that would call in and say, well, we want to come together. We want to make sure we're close. And you got to separate. You got to find recovery on your own, for the betterment.
Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Allison, your better half, I know he was very supportive, I'm sure, but...
Yeah, very supportive. He is just a normal drinker. He can have a beer or half a beer and not finish it. Yeah,
but did he reach a saturation point with you? Just, all right, this is it, Allison. Are you going to do this again? I mean, was there a blow up, or is it just a gradual?
Just gradual.
Okay. And Jake, when did you know you had reached rock bottom?
Oh, I knew for a while, but I mean, really, when I moved back into my mom's house, and she had, so my mom is a nurse in Rochelle, which is a very small town, and I had overdosed on Thanksgiving night, and so I'll never forget the look on her face when she's, the ambulance picking me up and she's coming in to take me into the hospital where she works, of course, right? And she knows everybody. Everyone's like, "Hi, Sandy," and here's her junkie son that she's rolling in, for an overdose. So that was really, I knew I had a problem.
So were you aware of that then, with all that was going on with you? What is this doing to my mom as you're in the hospital?
That was the first moment when I realized how much this disease isn't just hurting me, but how it's affecting everybody else around me.
Yeah.
And I still wasn't able to stop, and I had to overdose again, and then was eventually arrested, and then that was finally my wake-up call.
Wow.
So
we talk about the ripple effect, the pebble. You were the pebble, and then all the waves and how much it affects other people around you. And so you got arrested, if you don't mind me asking about that?
Yes, yeah, I did. It was actually, so Rochelle's a small town. My uncle is actually was a detective in Rochelle, and my mom didn't know what to do. So he came, and that really opened my eyes actually to just recovery in general, because my goal was to go there just for the weekend until they found a treatment bed for me. I ended up staying there for 40-some days in jail because no other treatment beds. I mean, I didn't have insurance. I didn't have anything.
And you're withdrawing at that time, right?
Correct. Yeah. I went through my withdrawals about a week time in jail, and then really just sat there. And, I'd never had a speeding ticket at that point. So that was so eye-opening, really opened my eyes to the system of care. I mean, somebody who is really struggling with addiction, they need help, not to sit in a jail. That's not going to do anything for them.
Yeah, we had one guest on our suicide prevention show that the largest mental institution in Illinois is the state prison, because inevitably he told a story about a gentleman out was naked directing traffic. I mean, wasn't hurting anybody, but they got arrested, and of course no treatment while he's in jail, and go right back out again.
Exactly, and then what are you going to do in that situation, right? I get we have to do something with them, but there just needs to be more services that are readily available.
Now, I was doing a research here on the Sauk Valley Voices of Recovery, and I was very intrigued by Gerald Lott, who is the executive director. I love that it says Gerald comes from a diverse background, career in music, nightclubs, and sales and marketing. So he's been there and done that. I love that.
Yes. Yeah, Gerald's a great guy. I'm sure you get along with him really well. He managed nightclubs and owned one for a long time in the city of Chicago, and kind of has his own story with alcoholism, and then brought him out here to Dixon, actually, where he first started Sauk Valley Voices of Recovery. Now,
I saw one of the things that you guys do there, and as Allison was saying, I think it was that on the air, off the air, that Allison was pointing out that you guys don't just do the 12-step program, you do other ways, other forms of treatment.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, we welcome all paths of recovery. I run a smart recovery group. We encourage the 12 steps, obviously, as well. We think they're amazing. They have a place for everybody. And then we also do, monthly events too, which is a really big thing, because again, that community aspect of it is so important for people.
Well, I see here, I want to ask you about peer recovery coaching in Sauk Valley, because obviously, I interviewed Marines who had battled suicide and mental illness, and they said they only want to talk to other Marines, other people that have been through what they've been through. And I think this peer recovery, tell us about that peer coaching, how important that is.
Yeah, it's so important. And it's people who have been through and are in recovery, and they come back and support. It's very similar to a sponsor in a way. It just takes an extra step. It's, they take them to meetings, or they really just talk to them and help them figure out life. It's really like being a huge support system, and that one-on-one, like you said, they've been through it.
Yeah.
So that's so powerful.
And sponsorship, tell us about that with the Alano group now. Are you a sponsor now? And what point did you get to, Allison? You said, all right, I'm ready to be a sponsor for somebody.
So it can be, sponsorship can be different for everybody. My way of thinking of sponsorship is when you get to the program, You don't know anything. You don't know when you can, when are you supposed to talk to you? And
Right.
talk to people,
Right.
So the sponsor is a person that you could trust to ask those dumb questions like, when is it my turn to talk? Or, can I get up and go to the bathroom during a meeting? Who knows,
Right.
But then also will help you through the 12 steps. So you should start working the 12 steps with your sponsor right away. And every sponsor does that differently, but you should start working those with your sponsor. And then you have somebody you can trust always in the
Yeah.
program.
And in theory,
He's
call
kinda like
them
a
at
mentor,
any
kind of
time
like
of
a
the night,
mentor.
right? Any time that
Yeah,
you need
can. I mean, sponsors might say, don't call me at night.
that.
A lot of people turn their phones off, but some people have a whole bunch of sponsees and you can talk to them anytime. It's up to the individual. I pretty much think the sponsor is there to answer the dumb questions that you don't know and to walk you through the steps.
Okay. Sponsees, is that the plural of sponsors? Sponsees? I never heard that.
If the people that you're sponsoring are your sponsees.
Oh, you're sponsees. Okay. Oh, I never thought about that. Very good. Now, I want to go through the steps here with you guys, but something I saw when I was getting ready to do this here is the headline here, Study AI Chatbox Needs to Fix Suicide Response. And in the case, it was a young man who was conversing with the chat box and ultimately said wanted to commit suicide. Now, initially, the chat box told him to get help and different ways he could get help, but then said if you're dead set on committing suicide, actually aided the young man in how to commit suicide, was a bridge by his house and led him to that. And what do you think about AI and helping in terms of, I'm sure a lot of people that are battling drug addiction and alcohol addiction go to the AI, and wanting to get the help, and then something like that might happen.
Yeah, and that's just tragic. I think it has a place, but I don't think it can truly replace the human aspect of recovery, which is so important.
And it keeps getting back to that. And same thing with your group, right? It's that one-on-one with a real person,
the
right?
The biggest thing is the connection that I feel when I go with meetings, that I'm sitting there with a group of people that know exactly what I've been through. And I didn't realize, even though I was familiar with AA before I got there, I didn't really realize that there were others that were going through the exact same thing, that were drinking in the morning, that couldn't stop, that knew you were going to get in trouble, but still couldn't stop. All these embarrassing things that I've done, all the other people in the rooms have done too. And it's not even embarrassing to them. Like, you say it out loud and there's like, oh yeah, I did that.
And
So it's kind of the connection of being with the people.
something I'm sure our listeners want to know, do you say, hi, I'm Terry Ryan and I'm an alcoholic? Do you say that every time you go to speak, or is that just like from the movies and TV?
No, that's what you do also.
So is that
Yeah.
important? Why is that important to say that, do you think?
I wouldn't have said it was important until I've been in the program a little bit, and it seems like there are a few people that are hesitant. And you can say what you want. Like I say, I'm Allie, I'm an alcoholic. Someone could say they're drug addict or powerless over alcohol. But I notice the people that don't say something like that won't label themselves, are usually the ones that are not willing yet to get sober. They're really not. They're not in it yet.
Okay. Now, Jake, just a moment ago, you called yourself a drug addict when you're talking about your mom and your uncle arresting you. So you can be pretty rough on yourself, or you have been.
Yeah. I mean, I put myself through quite a bit and through my family, but also through that, though, is why I found recovery, because I know what I had put them through, so I wanted to make them proud ultimately. So,
Okay, and that's always lurking, isn't it? I mean, you're not 100%. That's never.
No, and I don't think we ever truly are. Even now, I just celebrated 10 years clean in October, and I've done
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, and I've done a lot of amazing things, but like that thought is always in the back of my mind. How close it can be. One mistake can lead me right back to where I was. So
Very good. Now, I know, Allie, you guys do that over there at your place where you have recreational events and like no booze, because I would have a real problem going to any kind of social events, especially with my family where there's no alcohol involved. But you find that, I tell you a story, when I was DJing, worked as a mobile DJ, and I had to do an alcoholics party, Alcoholic Anonymous party, and we go, this is going to be brutal. And it was great. The people were great. They all danced. They requested music. It was just one of the best. It was probably the best night I ever had as a mobile DJ, and really interesting, because I thought you had to have the alcohol to have a party, let alone dance and stuff. But you don't necessarily have to, do you?
no, and I think that's a big, what the public would say in general, and I think that's what a lot of people struggle with getting into recovery is like, well, how am I going to enjoy myself?
Right.
But you would be surprised that, especially the people you meet in recovery are just so grateful in what they've been through. But that's what Sauk Valley does a lot. We do monthly events. I know last month we went bowling at Mardi Gras Lanes, and we had like 50 people there, and there were kids, and they were running around. And it's just, all our events we do are free. And it's such a great time to see people. And we really want to show people you can have fun in recovery. It doesn't have to be, I just go to one meeting a week or whatever. No, you can do everything that you can do before, just without alcohol.
And you can do more because
Yeah.
you're not drunk and passed out in jail or
right,
the
right,
hospital.
exactly.
Or you can drive places at any time of the day.
Well, Ellie, you had your group here last time, and I could tell the three of you just get along so well. And then that's a relationship you developed through your meetings, or did you know them before?
No, I met them at AA.
Okay.
They kind of came in around the same time, and I had been around a little bit. And there's not as many females in the program, and we're not in a huge area anyway. So it was nice to have some females come in that were serious about getting sober, and we've been friends for a couple of years now.
And you do things like chili cook-offs and parties where obviously no alcohol involved, and we can still have a good time.
Correct. And I seriously thought I could not have fun without everything I did was with drinking. I played adult softball for a local bar. I would go to any event I would go to would be something that included drinking. But I found I have so much fun, and there's like not enough time to do the things I want to do right now because there's so much I want to do and so much that's fun.
Yeah.
And it's really cool learning about what you like in sobriety.
Well, the remembering must be great too, because
Yeah.
again, when I was DJing, I would do several shots of Jaeger, and they would tell me, "You were standing on the bar. What was it? You were standing on the bar." And they started telling you what you did the night before. So
And
that's
one of the
pretty-
reasons we're partnering with Sauk Valley Voices of Recovery is because we do want to have more events. We have the building there on Taylor, and we have a great outside area with a deck and a big grill, and we can have cookouts in the summer, and we want more people to get involved and know that there are sober events. So we are doing some events with them, including the Easter egg hunt coming up on the April 12th at Hopkins Park at noon. We're gonna have a sober Easter egg hunt. So that's probably not that weird for not drinking, right?
Well, yeah. Yeah,
Well, that's great. Well, and you guys are timely to today's headlines because this was just in the Chronicle on March 8th. The DeKalb County Mental Health Board offers 2 new grants to local programs that address addiction and recovery. Now, do you know about this, Jake? Are you familiar with it?
I do. I couldn't give you too much in depth about the grants themselves, but we both work very closely with Deanna Kate at the DeKalb County Mental Health Board, and truly the work they do is amazing. But yeah, I know one of the grants is for more local things, and they're really looking to serve I don't want to say underprivileged areas, but maybe the areas that don't get focused quite as much.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, it all
Great.
gets back to that people connection there. That's so important. Now, we mentioned the 12-step program. Before we go through that, tell us about the Voices of Recovery at Sauk Valley. What are some of the other different methods that you guys use? We talked about the peer support. What are some of the other things you guys use?
Yeah, peer support, and then we offer. We have a family group, we have a grief group, we have. I run a music group on Sundays at the Rochelle Recovery Center, which is just people.
There's
getting
a great
together and playing
alternative
music.
to drugs, right?
Exactly, and that was something that was hard for me. I love playing music. I recorded for a long time, but again, every time I played a stage show, I was pretty intoxicated on something. So, but that's great just to get people involved. We love when people bring their kids in, and it's something they can start together. But yeah, we do.
Funny you say that. I was just listening to Willie Nelson last night, and the one song is "Roll Me Up and Smoke Me." Is it?
Yeah, so-
But
so
there's
good.
somebody who smoked marijuana most of his life,
Sure.
and he's been able to. But those are more the exceptions to the rule, aren't they?
Yeah, I would say so. And again, I know like AA and NA, I won't speak for it, but I know it's very much an abstinence-based program, and which I strongly believe with that too. But there are cases, where people are able to do something like that.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll
okay.
use me as an example. I smoked marijuana most of my whole life, and I tell you, I got into drinking heavily when I was working at the nightclub there. But then I found it easier to quit. But I was relying on the weed. I counted on the weed. At the end of the night, I'm going to have a joint when I get home. And,
Right.
but I'm like, I rationalize that to myself in my world. But I'm sure a lot of people do that. But again, I don't know if I'm just being functioning or is it really helping me because. I find I can forget my problems. It just allows me to relax. But is that a cop out? Do you think?
I've got different beliefs on that. I do think I think in some instances it's okay, but I think a lot of people can overdo that too, though, right? So it's really just a balancing act. Obviously, first and foremost, I believe that the best thing to do is just cut all those off completely, but that doesn't always work for somebody. So there's something called harm reduction, which is where you're using, but you're doing it in a safer manner. If somebody's drinking every single day and then they cut down to 3 days a week, is that still good? Is that still productive? Yes. Right. Is it the ultimate goal? No, but it's a step, right? So we have to encourage those little victories and those wins too.
Well, as I mentioned, my dad was an alcoholic and my sister was going to Northwestern at the time, and she brought him home some weed. She's like, "Dad, why don't you try smoking some weed?" Because he wanted to quit and nothing else was working. And he tells a great story about watching Johnny Carson, but Johnny Carson was never so funny as when he smoked, but he didn't like the smoking, and it wasn't working as an alternative. So it's never good really to switch from one thing to another.
No, I wouldn't say so. And I think, that's what the other, AA.
Allison, did you dabble with weed at all, if you don't mind me asking? Or did you? Was it helpful to you, at least initially when you were quitting, or not?
Oh, not when I was quitting. I thought you meant my life.
Okay.
I would suggest, especially when you're first quitting, to quit everything so you can kind of get your mind together. And because I was poisoning myself with alcohol for years and years and years and years and years. So it took me a while to start thinking straight. And I think you really should
that
be
clear
clear
thinking.
of substances while you are trying to get your mind together and work your program.
All right, very well put. All right, so let's go. I don't know what the 12 steps were. We can just touch on these here because, well, first of all, honesty, and I think we've already kind of touched on that because you got to be honest with yourself, right? You can justify things all life long, but if you're not honest with yourself, it doesn't really count, does it?
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
And Allison, was that tough for you when you really faced the reality that, hey, maybe I'm an alcoholic? Yeah.
Yes, that was tough. But honesty, when I started working the program, I still remember the first lie I told being sober because I was trying so hard, to be good and not tell lies and do the next right thing. And I told a lie and I freaked out and talked about it in a meeting.
Well, my cousin, who as an alcoholic, Jackie doesn't mind me saying that, was hiding vodka bottles all around the house. And he did it for 12, 15 years before his wife found out. And And it takes lying to a whole nother level. I mean, because she couldn't believe that he had been doing it for that long and that he got away with it that long. So the honesty, big thing, isn't it?
Honesty and accountability, absolutely, is everything.
Number 2 is faith. And again, now, because people always think that you have to be somehow religious related with that. Tell us about that, if you would. We have to have faith, but you don't necessarily be a Jesus freak, per se, right?
No, and I think that turns a lot of people off to the 12 step in my experience, right? And it's just believing in something that's bigger than yourself is really what it comes down to. Yeah,
because I think it actually says that. It's not just God per se, but something bigger than yourself, right?
Correct, yeah.
And Allison, did you have a problem with that when you first covered that one with the, are you a religious person? Or
I don't believe in God.
Okay.
I do believe that there's a power greater than me. I mean, this universe and nature is insane.
So that's a great example. So you don't believe in God, but yet you do believe that there's got to be something greater than all of us, right?
Correct, but not the God that we usually talk about in this part of the country.
Okay.
I do find that sometimes meetings start talking about God too much. Too much for me. I think they are talking too much about it. Sometimes I share that I don't believe in God, and that if anybody else in the rooms here doesn't, please know that you can still get sober without having to believe in God. And I'm proof. You don't have to believe in the Catholic God I grew up with or the Christian God that a lot of people in this area practice.
Well, I always remember on the MASH TV show, Colonel Potter saying that there's no atheists in foxholes because a lot of people, when they're at the toughest part in their life, they turn to religion, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
All right, very good. Now, number 3 is surrender. Now, again,
so those are the actual steps you're reading, though. Those are just the concept of what the step is.
Yeah, well, then let's just go with the concept. The concept of surrender means now that you accept a higher power in your life, welcome them by surrendering fully to a higher purpose. So that's what we're talking about with surrender, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Soul searching. Now, this one, we can all agree with this. It's a process just like recovery. There's no single moment that defines healing. Instead, it's a culmination of intentions and actions that lead you down the right path. Soul searching involves looking objectively inward at yourself. So again, that's the tough thing, is looking hard at yourself, right?
Yeah.
The easier way to think about it is just make a list of everybody you know pretty much in your life because they've hurt you, you've hurt them, or you screwed them over. So...
Well, see, that's the one I know from the Seinfeld episode. I was talking about that where George is
the guy wouldn't apologize
the guy's
to him.
sweater out of from his large head. But is that a good idea, do you think? Or did you do that? Did you go back and apologize to people?
Now you're jumping up steps.
Okay.
First you just have to make your list.
Okay.
Make a searching and fearless moral inventory of yourself. So that's when you sit down, your sponsor shows you how to do it.
Okay.
Because you're like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And it's in the big book and can kind of explain how they did it when they made their moral inventory. And then you sit down and
write
your
good.
shit.
And then integrity. Most of the people who don't succeed in recovery struggle most with the step of the AANN journey. One of the hardest things in life is being honest about things that make us appear vulnerable in front of other people. Well, we're all guilty of that, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And that's being right where you go into a meeting and you speak and maybe you tell something that you're struggling with, right? Which is huge. You got to talk about it. You can't hold it inside.
So nobody taught you to say, I'm a drug addict. You one point, Jake said, "I'm going to say this: I am a drug addict."
Yeah, when you go to meetings, that's what everybody else calls themselves, and then you obviously that's what I am.
Okay, and then acceptance. Again, how would you define that, Allison, in a broad term and just broadly? Accepting that you need help. Is that what we're talking about?
What step are you on?
Acceptance, number 6.
We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. So you already figured out you're kind of a-hole in some ways and what you've been doing to people, and all you're doing is just willing to get rid of those feelings.
All right, very good. And humility, that's another one. Antisocial behaviors such as using drugs or withdrawing from peers often stems from a confused sense of self. When you let go and ask a higher power for help, you relieve a huge weight of pressure from your own life as well.
Yeah.
Did you find that to be true?
Yes, a lot of people that haven't worked the steps or don't know them really, or they're not part of their lives. They don't really understand it, and I didn't either. But as you work these steps in this order, truthfully and honestly, to the best of your ability at that time, like your life will start to change. And when you get to the 9th step, there are different like promises throughout the steps and prayers, but the 9th step has a really nice 9th step promise. If when you get to that time, this is what's supposed to happen in your life.
Okay.
So the steps sound kind of weird, but if you work them, they really do change your life.
Now, you use the term working the steps. What do you mean when you say working the steps? What does that mean?
So like I said, at first you go through, your sponsor, and you go through all these and kind of figure out what they are and do them. But then throughout your life, I have to kind of continue these steps. If I want to work the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, I have to live my life of these 12 steps. But hopefully I'm at a point where I'm only doing like 10, 11, and 12.
Right.
I've done them a couple of times. And when I've had a sponsee, it's great, like going over the steps again, because then I kind of do them again.
Sure.
But yeah, people in the program, I can't speak for everybody, but I do try to live my life by these steps. It makes things easier. Why make things hard and search for stuff when I have all my answers right here? Because I know it works.
And they're in order for a reason.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. Like a lot of it, you have to be willing to do it before you go do it. And that's like the step is literally just saying, I will do this.
You just stole it. That's step number 8 is willingness. Like I said, willingness to get the help. All right, very good. And number 9 is forgiveness. Now, is that where I jumped ahead, where you asked people to forgive you? Where you
Yes,
going? That you
made a
hurt?
direct amends, yeah. As long as it's not going to hurt the other person.
Okay. What do you mean as long as it's not going to hurt? So in other words, don't bring up something bad?
Yeah, like I might not want to apologize to you in front of your wife for sleeping with you or something. Or that would probably hurt your marriage a little bit,
But now, Jake, how about you? Did you feel like you're with your mom? It sounds like, did you have to ask for her forgiveness? And what was that like?
Absolutely, absolutely. And for me, I never worked the 12 traditional steps, but I still went to the meetings, and I fully believe in it. But for me personally, I mean, yes. And my mom always says that the best thing I ever did is, I didn't go to her and just say, hey, like, I'm sorry for these things, but I showed her throughout my life the changes I've made.
No, very good. Proud. Yes, what better way to show that there? And then we said forgiveness, maintenance. Now, that's what you already touched on. That maintenance, you got to keep it going for the rest of your. And then making contact. Now, during step 11 of AA and NA, you'll reach out to a higher power to find out what purpose for you is. Everyone has a gift in life, no matter what it is. There's something you can offer the world. When you're working towards this purpose, is when you'll feel happiest. So, really, finding a goal, like you said, you said now you don't have enough time to do all the stuff you want to do, right?
Yeah.
So you're finding things to do.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I ride my bicycle. I rode my bike 100 miles. I'm kayaking and canoeing with my husband and the dog. There's just not enough time to do all the fun things that I didn't even know I enjoyed because I was too busy being drunk.
Right. Why would I'd be like, let's go kayaking. I have to get stoned first.
I know. And you know what? A lot of the people that do that kayaking, there's also tubing there. So they have like the cooler tubes and stuff, and they're all getting drunk. And it's just, I'm at the point now where that's not who I want to be. I look at them, I'm like, oh, that sucks, and I'm having fun there, just enjoying my life.
Very good. And how about you, Jake? Are meetings important? Do you go to meetings?
Absolutely. Not so much. I mean, in the beginning, I would have to go to one a day. Now, I've got one group that I go to a month, but then I'm also, running 5 to 6 groups a week, which is very helpful. Yeah. So,
so do you get stuff out of the group
every single time? A couple months ago, we started doing NA group at the DeKalb County Jail. And that is one of my favorite that I get the most out of, talking with those guys. And for people in those situations to still be able to get so much hope out of their lives and still hold themselves accountable, that's where you see it's working. Right?
One of my favorite shows is Pitbull and Parolees. I don't know if you've ever seen that, where the
Yeah,
where the Parolees
right.
take care of the pit bulls. But it's a beautiful thing because you can
Yeah.
see the dogs cut through all the crap and just
Mhm.
like and the prisoners know it, and it's just a beautiful see when you see their moment. You can see their lives turning around when they with the dog.
Right, right. Yeah, and it's amazing to see that, and then I mean that's truly where we need to be, right, to really make an impact on them to change their lives, right?
Yeah. And then finally, service. Service is all about action. This stage of the rest of your life involves applying everything you've learned in AA and NA meetings to help build a brighter future for yourself. Now, I should point out that Jake contacted me, and actually, Allison, you contacted me originally too. So you both feel that's important to reach out and not only heal yourself, but let other people, And I was going to ask Allison when she came out, do you want to come on and say that you're an alcoholic? Because this is going to be heard locally here in DeKalb County, and you didn't have a problem with that.
I don't have a problem with it. Some people are more private with their lives in general.
Sure.
I'm kind of an open book with my whole life, but I do want people to know if they need help or they have questions, they can come to me and ask. They can call me, they can text me, they can reach out on Facebook.
No judgment, huh?
Correct.
Very good. And Jake, how about yourself?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, I'm an open book, and I can't tell you how many times somebody, an old friend, has messaged me on Facebook because they see the work that I do, and that always just makes me so happy. That's why we're here, and that's why we do what we do. I feel like.
And finally, I want to end on this one. It's sad but inspirational at the same time, and that's Tevins Tribe that I came across when I was researching you guys, honoring lives and lost, forever missed, and it's a list of people that have been taken from either drug abuse or, and he said forever. It says forever 18, forever 23, and tell us about that page. I just get verklempt thinking about it. What is that like, Jake?
Yeah, so
putting that-
Lauren Metzler, she is our COO of our company. She had lost her brother to an accidental overdose, and then she's also lost her mom within the last year. But she started Tevins Tribe to honor her brother, where people can put in for loved ones that they've lost, and we have posters that we hang up at different events so that they're always remembered. One of the campaigns we're doing now is called Recovery Lives Here. So each month we honor a local person that's in recovery, and then we also honor someone from Tevins Tribe as well that we lost.
That's great.
yeah.
What a great tribute to him. But again, it's just so emotional to see pictures of the people and know that we lost at such a young age.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. It's powerful. Yeah.
So we thank you both. So what did we miss? Did we miss anything? Let's remind people now about the Voices of Recovery. How can we learn more about that, Jake? What's the best way to find out more about that?
The best way, honestly, is our Facebook page, or you guys can call us literally 24 hours a day at 779-707-0151.
Okay. Anything we missed? Anything else you want to throw in here at the end?
No, I think that's great. Allison brought up the Voices Night Out that we're doing in April for at Hopkins Park on April 12th. We would love to get everybody out again. It's a free event. We're gonna, different raffles. We got a couple kids' bikes, and just come out and have a good time and hang out with us.
All right, very good. Allison's got her rainbow socks on too. I hope you wear those. But Allison, let me ask you a final question: is that did you ever think you'd be at this point right now in your life, and are you happy with the fact that you're heading in the right direction? I mean, because things were looking a little dark there for a while. But did you ever think you'd be here advocating, telling other people to get help?
No, never. And this is the coolest thing about the program is I've been around a little bit now that I've seen newcomers come in and feel the exact same way I felt, lost, scared, embarrassed, hopeless, and then work the steps and get sober. And the change in them and the change in their eyes is so wonderful to be able to see. So I'm so happy for that.
Oh, very well put. And again, if we want to learn more about the Alano Club, however we choose to say it, how can we do that?
Facebook page, DeKalb Area Alano Club. Also, you can Google it and check out the website. It has the list of all the meetings that are available at the club. And on the Facebook page, we'll put up the events and the events that we're doing with Sauk Valley and their events also. So you can check out the Facebook page for local events.
Okay, and
Fun
then
times.
lots of different times for the meetings, right? So you want to just go and if you don't, you can just go and attend a meeting if you want to, right?
Yes, check out the meeting schedule on the website. There is a women's meeting that's specifically for women, 1:30 on Wednesdays at the Alano Club. So if there's any women that are interested in a meeting and just want to go to a meeting with other women, come to the 1:30 meeting.
All right, very good. Well, again, we commend you both for what you do. It's wonderful that you're giving back the way you are, and you've turned your life around, and not only just for your own selves, but for helping others as well. So thank you both for what you do. Thanks for stopping by today.
Thank
Thanks,
you so
Dee Dee.
much. Appreciate it.
And that's TD Ryan Unleashed, podcast number 50.